Welcome back to the Witch's Way podcast. I'm Kat.
And I'm Jayme. And tonight we are talking about girls bullying girls. That's the best I could come up with, you guys. It's the realm of when you're a young girl and you get bullied by girls, and then it doesn't stop in school. This is my story tonight. This is a Jayme story.
This is Jayme's story about being in school and getting bullied by what?
Girls.
But they were specifically, I think they were all Mexican girls, weren't they?
No, because in middle school it was white girls, and so the first middle school was like white girls. Not that race necessarily matters, but when you're bullied by all races, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Yeah, so, sometimes you think that like you're just the outcast because you look different than everybody, but that actually wasn't even the case. I used to question, why am I getting bullied? And it would be about weird shit too. I had lighter hair. They used to, really get on to me about my blonder hair. It was very odd. So things progressed, and it always wasn't one race or another. But But
there were weren't there at Harmon? Was it at Harmon?
Not at Harmon, no.
I just remember I wanted to go to the school, and she
was pretty pissed, and she wanted to handle something, and I told her no. So, there was cliques, of course. And yeah, it wasn't a specific race, because then when it was outside of school in the neighborhood, it was, we lived around people of color. It didn't matter. We were one of the few white families in the area. So I hate to make that about race, but I mention it because...
it was a very mixed neighborhood. I mean, we had Asian folks across the street.
We just didn't have any white people. That's all I'm saying.
Not a lot of white people. We were lower income areas.
I am Caucasian and pretty... Well, I don't know. I tan well. But, the lighter hair and lighter eyes...
Her hair was lighter when she was young.
So I got made fun of. Yeah. Which is fucking, this is just what happens. But I want to remind you guys that I sort of grew up in Kansas City, in the hood, Wyandotte County, hood area of Wyandotte. Not that it was bad. I had a great time. There was plenty of places to run and play and do crazy shit like I wanted to. But it was when I had to interact with other kids that things just were tough. So the reason I'm talking about bullying is because the shift today that we're going to get to is how that affected me throughout my life to not choose women. And how that really became a problem, because if you're not choosing to be friends with women and you're choosing to be friends with men, and then, that's not ever going to turn out fucking well. This is just a whole progression of where I'm at now. So we're going to start at the beginning. And this is really about girl bullies. Girl bullies. Listen, my dyslexia, just so you guys know, my speech impediment is for W, R's, and L's. So I'm probably going to say some shit fucked up tonight since it's girl. I got some of my letters in there that I had to go to speech therapy for a year that I will try to keep straight. But if we laugh at me, that's okay. I love it now. I laugh at myself when I make the little, weird sounds like I'm British. World, worm, girl. I was like, I just should have been born British. They talk like that.
All right, so take us back.
Yeah, take us back. Oh, man.
Take us back to the beginning.
We did want to mention this is episode 74.
This is episode
74.
74, currently unnamed, but that's okay. You're here with us.
I just know that it's about girl bullies.
Thank you. And Jayme's going to take us back to...
Yeah, 6th grade.
Sixth grade.
The first time of getting bullied that I was just like, what? Why is that? Why do you get to make fun of me for that? And it was when we moved from the inner city... So Eisenhower out to Baser. So we lived in the inner city. That was actually mixed. We had kids of all colors, and we all got along great, and we played hide and seek all the time. And it was like this huge neighborhood of people, and we never felt different. Nobody ever felt like they stood out. Like we all just got along because we were all the same age. It was great. And my sister's 5 years younger than me, so she came along. So there was not a lot of really bad shit there necessarily. It started strangely with girls who look like me, but I was the new kid, so they could make fun of me and how I looked just because I was new. It was baffling to me, and they would berate me with, I would walk by or something, and they'd be like, bitch, stupid ass. I was like, I would be shocked. I didn't hear words like that before. Nobody's called me names like that. But I started to develop a complex because, when you're young and you're outgoing, and I was more outgoing. I love to, I don't know. I like to be outside. So it was the recess time when all this would usually happen. And then it started in with the school stuff. So I realized that I needed to not be seen. This is probably the first time in my life outside of my home that I realized that being seen makes you vulnerable, makes people, you're not subject to what they think of you, and they want to say that to you. And then how you react either eggs them on, or I don't know, maybe if I was more violent and just wanted to fight everybody, it would have shut it down. I really don't know. But I'm not a fighter. I'm more like, okay, so I'll think about that. So I'm a stupid bitch. Okay, so I'm not, though. I'm pretty sure I'm not. But then you hear that, right? So it was 6th grade, one school. Now 7th grade, a different school. I'm hearing the same things. The girls are all pissed. They all want to, like, gang up on me, you know, find me in the bathroom by myself so they could try to, you know, fight me and stuff. And I'm not a fighter. I'm a runner. I did cross country. I can get out of a situation pretty quick. So that's what I learned to do. I became a runner, which was a theme in my relationships as well. I didn't like something, I fucking took off. But this is where you're building these habits when you're young, when things are happening to you, like not being accepted. And if you're looking at people that look the same as you, you're going to the same school, even if you don't look alike, you're still trying to find your people and you don't find them ever, or you think you found them and then they reject you completely. Like, how do you find your place in the world? And we moved a lot, which I was grateful for, because then I could get away from some shitty people and like try to do it again. It just never really worked out for me, and I didn't know why. I became friends with teachers more than I became friends with any students ever, because I was like, I don't understand these kids. Like, what the fuck is wrong with them? That was sort of when I knew I was different, or an older soul, or I just saw things different, or whatever you say about people that just don't get along with kids when they're a kid. You know, I was just like, fuck them kids. I don't know. Like, I wanted to hang out with my sister who was 5 years younger than me. She was cooler than anybody else. So I sort of stuck to that, where her and her friends, they weren't really mean. Like, they kind of looked up to me, or it was more of we could run around the neighborhood and still be tomboys and it was acceptable. But getting bullied from middle school to middle school, then into high school, where, you know, people really came at me and like aggressively wanted to fight me. And there were even a guy fought me one time. Like, he thought he could hit me and like, you know, do little jabs and shit. And I got up one day and I was just like, yeah, I tried to hit him back. That was stupid. He was much bigger and taller than me and literally hit me in the head like 3 times. But he got expelled and I didn't. So I sort of learned like, okay, well, standing up for yourself isn't great, but you know, he did get expelled, so I felt like there was some justice. I was like, okay, so yeah, you do got to follow rules. Society, there's still rules. We got to do things the right way. And I always just hoped for, when I graduate from high school and I go into the Navy, I'm going to be in the adult world where everybody fucking acts the right way and everybody follows rules and everybody's grown up. Man, was I wrong. My very first girl boss used to tell me all the time that she didn't think I was intelligent because I wore makeup. She was like, no, girls who wear makeup are not intelligent. Like, you're not going to amount to much. You know, you just need to like resign that fact. You just need to be happy where you're at, and like, you're not going to make it anywhere. And you're just like, what? Trying to have female friends, trying to connect with people, trying to get out there, and you just keep getting shut down by the women that are around you. And you know, it's not like it's one area, like, different schools, different neighborhoods, different races, different everything, Navy, traveling. I lived in Guam, like living in Japan. Everywhere that I went, I just found women who were fucking hateful towards me, and I never understood it. And so it gave me quite the complex about women. And I learned from my sister that I'm not a girl's girl. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. What is a girl's girl? Like, what? She's like, you have to choose the girl side over the guy. I was like, no, girls are crazy. I had a bad opinion of women, terrible opinion of women. I used to bitch about women are terrible drivers, you know, that they are too emotional, they make too many mistakes, they do the same stupid shit, they never learn. And literally, from having so many bad examples of women in my life, I really didn't even like my own kind. Like, it was hard to like other women, because I was like, you're probably dumb. Like, that's where I got to. So unhealthy. And I didn't know how to shift it. I didn't even know if I ever could shift it. Instead, I would say that I make better friends with guys. You know, it was like, oh, that's easier. not knowing the reason why it's easier to make friends with guys is because they're all eventually hoping that you'll sleep with them. They don't want to be your actual friend, you know? There's some protection in that. They always have an ulterior motive. Well, and even if they don't, you're such a cool chick. You know, I got air quotes going. You're such a cool chick. Like, I could totally see us, blah, 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 blah. And as soon as a guy friend would admit that he liked me, I was like, we can't be friends anymore, dude, because I don't think about you like that. Like, you're not even close. I'm glad that you think I'm cool. This was fun. We can't be friends now, because I wasn't somebody who like tried to get what I want by being flirtatious or using my body or just like, oh, you know, come here, let's be friends. Oh, let me get everything I want from you. That kind of shit irritated me. So I became really hardened, very unemotional, very strict and rigid, and sort of, it's not that I was ever nasty. I was just cut off, you know? It's like, I don't trust women. I don't trust them at all. I think if they want to be friends with you, they want to do something, like there's an ulterior motive to them, to women in general. It's really fucking hard. It's actually hard to admit now because I have a lot of amazing female friends in my life, but that even took time, you know, to get to a place where I was vulnerable with women. And that sounds so odd since they're literally my species. Like, I do believe men and women are different species because men are just fucked in the head. Like, I don't even know what's wrong with them. In the head. And I feel bad for them. I'm like, do you even understand that you're not, like, really? I mean, there's good ones out there. They still have a couple things, but there's very few good men. So most of the time with guys, I'm like, yeah, you guys are, I feel bad for you. Like, you got the shit into the stick being a guy. Like, that sucks.
No, they didn't get the shit into the stick. They've made it that way. But this is not about them tonight. We'll bitch about them another night. Tonight is about...
So what do you do when, like, you've got... You can't trust women. Being friends with a guy can only last so long, and then you got to move on. You can't, like, keep guy friends around. I found myself very, very alone in the world. Really, really cut off, shut off on purpose. Not because I was trying to make friends and wasn't. I just got to a place of so many instances of being shut down and bullied by women. Older women, younger women, you know, people I thought were my friends that then, you know, did stupid shit to me. And it's like... Why? Like, why do that? Why break the trust? You know, why when things could go well for a while? I tried to have a friend for almost probably 10 years. Should I make up a name for her or just say her name?
Whatever you want to do.
I don't fucking know. I wasn't prepared for that. No, just the real name. Rachel. I met her through my son's family when I had Cameron, and she was a close family friend, so everybody got along, and she's exactly my sister's age. She's 5 years younger than me, and I seemed to get along with her because when we first met, she was 19, I was 24. She was very bubbly, you know, we just got along well. It was like we both wanted to just have a good time. We didn't want to deal with the drama and the bullshit. And I thought that we had similar agendas as far as like going places in life, building your dream, like believing in yourself, you know, loyalty towards family. It seemed like we had a lot of things in common. We met in South Carolina. Well, she ended up becoming a model and, you know, going to New York, and she got around all these other women. So I met her before all of that, like before she was in Maxim and all these other magazines and doing these fucking shoots, and then the drugs came on, and then like more shit, right? And I think that her lifestyle made her unstable because I kept trying to stay friends with her, and the longer each year that we were friends and we would do stuff, I could see where she started to like use me and then, you know, act like we're all we have in the world, we're each other's family. So I got manipulated into this situation. Well, not into it, but I stayed in the situation and then continued to be manipulated in it. And then she had children, you know, it was like, then I got involved in her kids' lives. And I'm one of those people that, you know, I do have that loyalty. When you are around children, it's really hard to leave them. So I can understand why when men or women get with a partner that has children, it's much harder to leave because you still think about that child and how innocent they are and like all the things that they're going to have to go through, or you want to be there for them. It's like, yeah, you want to give up on the person, the mom or the dad, but you're like, the kid doesn't deserve to be given up on. So even trying to create a really solid relationship with Rachel and this bond that I thought was unbreakable, she did me wrong so many fucking times. And it was like a bad relationship where I kept having to learn my lesson of like, oh my God, oh fucking again.
An abusive relationship.
Like an abusive relationship, you know? Mm-hmm. There was a time when she's one of the first people that gave me a drug, and I didn't know it was a drug, and she didn't tell me that it was Adderall. God, I should just say that, like, it doesn't need to be a secret. But she had me take an Adderall, which I don't take drugs. I know I have ADHD, but I've never taken Adderall. Like, I hadn't been diagnosed, nothing. And she didn't tell me what it was, you know, and I'm thinking it's the headache pill. You know, we had been out drinking the night before. We were going out drinking again. And that, I was thinking, like, it clears your headache. She was like, here, take this, you'll feel better. Not asking questions. I would think that if you're going to hand somebody a fucking drug, that you're going to tell them, this is an Adderall. It'll make you whatever. Felt awful. Was really confused. And I told, you know, you can't really, like, well, I couldn't get drunk on it, but I could tune into every single person's conversation in the bar. And I was like, whoa, this shit is crazy. Like, weird. Oh my God.
Jayme's never been.
I've never tried anything.
Never done drugs.
Hell, at that time I hadn't even tried weed.
She didn't even smoke weed until she was like 39 years old. Okay, that was the first drug.
I know.
So,
besides alcohol,
you know, she's kind of rare, I feel like, anyway. Of all the people I knew, everyone I knew did drugs.
But that's why it feels like such a bigger betrayal, because she knew I didn't, you know. And it was like, how could you hand somebody something like that? And Rachel had like water pills, and she took different stuff for her little modeling gigs and all of that. But, you know, and I knew that maybe I didn't really know that she took Adderall, but I knew that she had high anxiety, right? I knew she had high anxiety. I knew she took something for that. And I don't know that Adderall's prescribed for high anxiety, actually. Oh my God.
I think Adderall makes you hyper.
It's so like, naive.
If you don't need Adderall for what it's prescribed for, it's speed. That's my understanding of Adderall.
Well, then maybe that's why she took it.
Yeah, that's my understanding of Adderall. Now, you know, somebody please correct me if that's... I've never used Adderall before. No. Well, but yeah. But those hyperactivity drugs that they give kids are speed for adults, is what I understand.
Well, I did learn that there was like a whole tablet, because after I got an effect, you know, after I started feeling something and I had a drink, and I was like, I feel really weird. And she goes, yeah, that's the Adderall. And I was like, the what? The what are we doing? The what? Like, and I was pissed at her. So, and it was things like this where she would lead me into situations that were bad for me, right? So we're in Charlotte, North Carolina. You know, there's like better bars up there than there is in Columbia, South Carolina. And of course, her and her friends, like the whole model mind frame of like attention. I want everybody looking at me like, oh, I want pictures, and I want this and I want that, and just the whole vibe. Like, that's not me. I'm off in the corner like talking to somebody about books or science, or like, do you know why the earth and the seasons happen? And like, that's the shit I'm into.
Or reading somebody's palm. Yeah,
reading somebody's palm, maybe at the bar, you know. But there was some guy that was super interested in having the group of girls, there were 4 of us, over to a hotel room. And I was like, absolutely not. That sounds like date rape right there. I was like, I don't want to fucking go and be kidnapped and sold into sex slavery. Like, that's the kind of shit I thought about. I was like, I'm not going. You guys
Jayme
can go.
watched a lot of those documentaries growing up, and all the horror things that happened to the kids.
Not happening to me. I'm not that gullible. So it literally, I guess one of the main guys was like, you know, because this sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, but I'm not afraid to say it. I'm more interesting than most of them. Like, I just have real shit to talk about. I'm not trying to impress anybody, and I'm not trying to get known, and I don't care if you're a fucking photographer from wherever. You don't impress me, so.
That don't impress me.
No, that takes a lot to impress me, so that's not impressive. But the whole thing was like, he wanted me to come there, and I was like, yeah, that makes me even more leery. Like, absolutely not. So I agreed to go to the lobby of the hotel for drinks, and that was it. And even just getting there, I kept looking at her going, you know, you're not a very good friend. I've told you, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Clarify? I know, yeah, well, because I know you and Rachel were friends for like 10 years, right? Was that like the first real friend that you had after, like
outside the Navy?
That was the like longest term. She's your longest.
She's like my longest term friendship.
Female friendship.
But I have several girls right now that we're gonna beat that shit. Okay, you guys know who I'm talking to. We're gonna beat that record. Fuck Rachel and all her shit. We gotta beat that record, because I don't want her as my longest lasting. And it wasn't even friendships. Honestly, we took a 3-year break where I literally didn't speak to her because she's so fucked up. And then she wiggled her way back into my life because she's like, I had another baby, like blah 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 blah. And I'm like, oh God, you know, like, oh Jesus, like, okay, yeah, what's up? You know, I changed my ways. Look, I'm a mom. I'm super settled down. I don't do any of the drugs anymore. I don't blah, 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 I don't party, blah. No, she was just psychotic after that. And like, again, master manipulator. So when you guys hear me talk bad about Aries, and this is for two of my very close friends that are both Aries, and I'm like, how can you guys be Aries? No, you can't be like Rachel. No, that's the bad taste in my mouth that I have, is like, that was the friend Rachel for so long that was an Aries. And so that's all I knew. But I have two people that are proving all that wrong, and I just love them.
So with the Rachel thing, would you describe anything in that relationship that you would consider bullying in any kind of way? Was there things that she tried to get you to do
all the time? Yeah,
that you didn't really want to do, and she kind of pressured you into it? Because I think that's like that's like the grown-up bullying. That's like the grown-up bullying where you're not really bullying anymore. Now you're just kind of like, oh, come on, don't be a party pooper. Now you become, if you keep that bullying mindset, you know, what does it evolve into as an adult? A manipulator.
Well, and not having healthy boundaries, right? You're like,
I guess some people still grow up and are bullies because they in certain areas of their life, like if they're bosses, you know, or if they get in a position of power, they can bully. But otherwise, what do? They manipulate in some kind of way. They're trying to get someone else to do something that they want them to do or to behave in a certain way.
And I think they know that you don't want to do it, but they're like, I bet I can talk her into it. Watch. So,
which is really fucked up.
Yeah,
because that's like, what does that say about, you know,
how they think about you,
their opinion of you? Yeah. So it's like they've diminished, and then when you put that together, you're like, okay, I'm just not gonna have, you know, women are fucked up, men are fucked up, so I'm just gonna be alone. Yeah, I'm just gonna be alone.
I'm gonna talk to the plants.
I'll talk to plants and animals, and you know,
trust
me and my kid, trust nobody, put up the walls, not be. And the thing about that is, I mean, I think that's a temporary solution, and sometimes we do need to do that. But what happens if you prolong it? Then it's like, then you're like, you get so comfortable in that space that now you find it really difficult to put yourself out there when you change and evolve and grow and get around people, and then you really have to like force yourself to do that. Like it's like you have to put yourself out there again, and like you got to trust that the things that are these memories of yours that are like seared into your brain because all this fucked up shit happened to you. You put yourself out there so gingerly, so tentatively, so fearfully, you know, because underneath you're like, the last time I did this, I know what fucking happened to me. I know where this ended up. Is it worth it?
Well, and you learn, after going through so many of these situations, you learn not to trust your own instinct in this, you know?
Too.
And that was what was really hard for me, is like, I knew the whole time that there was a lot of things wrong with it, but I didn't have the words to like say it or stand up for myself or have like a true hard, like, this is my boundary and you cannot cross it, and if you do, like, we are done. It took getting to a place where I was watching her son one day, you know, out of the kindness of my motherfucking heart, because I watched her kid all the time. I paid for her life, basically. She came and lived with me for like 8 fucking months. I asked her for nothing. I was trying to help her get on her feet after leaving her baby daddy. And, you know, there was like a point where she made her situation sound so bad, and I was not interested in a single soul on this earth, that I was going to change my name so he couldn't even find me to find her. So that is how far I was willing to go for this friend. Like, change my fucking name, you know, like, help her get anonymity, like, help her fucking disappear.
So sacrificing. There's that sacrificing
loyalty.
in it.
It goes back into like, what will you do for somebody when you're that wrapped up in their life, and then you add in a child, right? And like, you just want what's best for them, and you just want to believe that they're the good people that they keep saying that they are, and that it's not their fault that they get into the bad situations. And, you know, you try to forgive, like, well, she was drunk when she, you know, gave me an Adderall, maybe, like, she wasn't thinking, like, I don't know.
We do make excuses.
We make excuses for the people that we keep trying to have a relationship with, you know, whether it is friend, partner, family, like, you just keep making excuses until there does come a day when they cross a line. And I think for me, with Rachel's manipulation of my entire situation, is she saw me get with somebody that I had a serious connection with, and she could tell that that was a threat to our relationship, because I wasn't going to live with her, and she wasn't going to live off me for free, and like, I was going to be committed to this other person, which is now my husband. And I could see her start to fucking spiral and figure out how to keep herself involved. She wanted to make my husband like her a lot, have her kids around all the time. Like, she really tried to integrate into it. And, you know, I let a lot of it happen because I was just like, what am I going to do? Throw her out on the street? Like, how do you end this relationship that you know is not healthy anyways? You have something 1,000% better over here that you want to commit all your time to, time and energy. And yeah, so one day when I was watching her kid and I didn't want to drive home and she was already at the house and she was like, you know, when are you coming home? And I just didn't answer and went to sleep. I'm notoriously bad about answering texts. When I did get there, she ripped the baby from me so fast and was like, basically gave me the silent treatment and told me, you know, that I was the worst person ever. And she worried that we were killed on the highway like all night and all kinds of other bullshit. And I was like, bitch, you can see my location. Like, you know exactly where I'm at. What are you talking? Why are you freaking out right now? First off, I've done you a favor. I've had him for 3 fucking days. He's not even my kid. Like, what are you doing? Like, you have it so good with me right now. Why are you blowing up about I kept him 1 night longer? You were gone for 3 days. That was on you to do that photo shoot and wherever the fuck you were. Like, that is when we stopped talking for 3 years. I went on to have this beautiful relationship with my now husband. And so 3 years later, she comes back in. Now, he already knew about her. So she actually used him to get to me. Started like, oh, you know, I've had another baby and I, you know, like, listen, I just, blah, 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 and trying to get him to feel sorry for her. Which he did. My husband has a huge heart to a fault and he likes to mend, he's a Libra, he wants to mend shit. He wants everybody to be happy. And he thought since we had been such good friends, like, we should repair it. Because I had no friends at that time, right? Mm-hmm. Again, I just had no friends. I was not trusting anybody. I wasn't going anywhere with that. And I kept telling him, I was like, listen, dude, she's not good. She's a manipulator. She's going to try to get shit, you know, like, she just gets her little claws in there and she lies and she drinks and does drugs and you can't tell, but you know, I always knew because her pupils would get giant.
Dead giveaway.
I had to fucking learn. Like,
yeah,
why did I have to learn what people look like on drugs? Why did I have to learn that? I shouldn't have had to learn that.
You shouldn't have had to learn that.
Just like when you're in an abusive relationship and you're like, okay, what are we getting today? Like, what's the mood? Oh, is she pissed off? Oh no, did something happen? Oh, you know, whatever. And it was eggshells a little bit, right? Like, you're just kind of like, ooh, what am I walking into today? How's she feeling? And when I found myself being worried about her mood and what was happening with her, I was like, I really got to stop this relationship again. I can't. Like, I should have never got back into this. And when I tried to end it very pleasantly this time, because before it was just like, you kept my baby overnight, I'm leaving, fuck you. And we didn't talk for 3 years, and I was totally fine with that. I was like, I didn't reach out. I don't fucking care. Fine. You know, like, I needed this to end anyways. But now she's living here near me and all the shit that's going on. I was like, oh God, she's like in my neighborhood. She could come by my house anytime she wants. Like, she knows the people in my life. Oh, that was much harder to break off. I made it way worse on myself getting back involved with her. But the bullying didn't stop because then she did some really awful things, like called my sister. This is 4 years ago when we had the hurricanes.
It was a hurricane.
Yeah, it was a hurricane. It was Irma, I'm pretty sure. So not the recent 2. Was it the recent 2? No, I don't know. Anyways, when there was fucking hurricanes in Florida a couple years ago, we've had a bunch recently.
So many.
But she called. We weren't speaking. I'd already cut her off. I told everybody in my life, I was like, cut her off, please. She's very unhealthy. Like, seriously, she actually scares me a little bit. Sometimes I worry that she's going to come light my house on fire. That's the kind of, you know, single white female psycho shit that she would do in my mind. And she does not forget nor forgive. She's got, you know, yeah, some tenacity about that. But anyways, she called my sister and told she didn't call my sister. She called my sister's best friend and told her that my nephew had been killed in a car accident and that my sister was at the hospital threatening to kill herself. All of this was fucking fabricated while we're going through a hurricane and everybody's on lockdown and like, it's a, you know, we're all like literally in our houses hoping they don't blow away. And this is what she does in one of the most extreme times in all of our lives where we're all just trying to like keep in touch and keep everything together. And it was all fake. And she even tried to set up like in her phone that like to look like text messages from her and my sister that this is all happening. And why she went and fucked with my sister and her friend, I don't know. Because Jolene was like, is she doing this to get to you? I'm like, girl, she's just fucking crazy. I don't know why she's doing it. Like, she probably wants me to reach out to her and be like, I'm gonna fucking fight you, come find me, I'm gonna, you know, like, I don't know what she wanted. But honestly, I didn't reach out, I didn't do nothing. I was like, everybody please block her, she's the most unhealthy person ever. And that's all you can do is like, when the person is so bad, get away from him.
So sometimes easier said than done. Because even now, she'll pop up in some kind of weird way, or I know you'll feel like you're being watched.
She's tried to follow some of my accounts.
She lives close by, so she definitely could. But
sadly. There's real fear with that, like when you end something with somebody and they're really pissed about it, like I have real fear that she would come and do something. That's not
because she's so unstable. That's
she's probably just really mad because as I broke it off with her, she kept saying, but why? And I was like, Rachel, we just do not have anything in common anymore. Like our lives are so different, and the way that you do things and act, I just can't condone. Like I don't want to be friends with you anymore. And I had to break up with her, and it took me a month to get her to really understand, because I tried to answer her questions. I still gave her that space to she wanted examples. I was like, okay, so when you did this and this and this and this and this and this, and you wore basically lingerie to a 4th of July swimming pool party where all my family was, and then you got mad that we didn't cook something, and you fucking stormed off with the food you brought and your boys, and it was a whole fucking blow up. It was embarrassing. You're embarrassing. And there's
she
just
did make a huge scene.
There's no meshing. She wore a fucking thong to a family barbecue at my pool at my house with all the families, and everybody's husbands, wives, all the. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and it's not just the thong, but her
the attitude.
Yeah, it's the way you wear the thong. Because some girls can be on the beach with thongs and they're just you're not. No. But she was very overtly sexual, out with her sexuality.
And she would say things to other people at the party like, oh, I wish my kids had a dad like that. Oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And she would try to pawn her kids off onto the guys that are there, like these other family men that are in our family that make them feel uncomfortable, right? So she was scaring people away, literally. Then she tried to blow up after drinks or whatever the fuck about how your brother hates me and I don't, and I was like, he doesn't hate you. What are you talking about? I don't even know. Why the fuck do we gotta have this conversation right now? Why are we even arguing about my brother? It just got to be this place where if I wasn't completely obsessed with her and giving her everything that she needed, I was going to pay for that. That is an abusive relationship. If I'm not making her happy and doing everything that I needed to do, she was going to make my life hell.
So the bullying is her kind of forcing herself onto you and her
into my life,
into your pushing her way in, and then just with the girls in high school where they're pushing their way into the bathroom and trying to get in. Did you ever have somebody try to get you in the stall?
Yes, in the fucking bathroom.
Pushing their way into the bathroom and then trying to corner you in a stall and shit.
Get me alone.
It's the same. It's the same behaviors. And now you're an adult, and so learning to.
And it's threatening, right? So the things that she did or would say are threatening. It's in a way of I remember one time she said, I don't think Tony would like that very much that you said that to me. And I was like, you think you're going to get my husband to take your side? And Tony and I weren't married yet, but one of the big fights was that she wanted to, we did a Celtic hand knot tying and stuff. And of course my sister's going to do that because it's my fucking sister. But she got very upset about that. And when I was trying to explain to her, she was like, I'm basically the reason why you and Tony are together. And I was like, are you out of your fucking mind? You give yourself a lot of credit for things that are just, you're delusional. So she would try to get me to think that my husband was going to be mad at me for, having an argument with her. And she did. She reached out to him several times and was like, Jayme won't, talk to me. What's going on? What the fuck?
Jayme won't talk to me.
Jayme
won't play with me.
Jayme won't come outside and play. She won't take my kids to the park. Jayme doesn't want to go camping with me anymore.
The difference between her and maybe the girls in high school as well, they were threatening. This one is now an adult and has resources and
she does.
Is more skilled in their behaviors to be more devious and hurtful, and potentially cause harm because the deviousness and the revenge, the need to seek revenge comes in.
Yeah.
So this is an escalation. This is the next. This is version 5.0 of the 1.0s from high school.
Right.
But this one, then we're going to add on some mental instability and some emotional problems, and just a lack of really, I think. like a more like lacking in, I don't know if more morality is the thing. It's morality is not the word I'm looking for. It's just a lack of
well, I know it's boundaries. Lack of boundaries is one part of it. Well,
boundaries, but also,
what did she lack? Common fucking sense.
Just
like,
not,
I don't know.
Just not having a problem with doing things that are really awful,
really shitty,
like really awful things. Just being okay with having, like, sociopathic almost. Although
she does, yeah.
I'm not
she
a psychiatrist.
She scares me in that way, like.
So but it's almost like that. It can feel like that kind of behavior.
Mm-hmm. And then the stalking thing that she does, where she tries to create other accounts to then follow my accounts or requests and stuff. And
that's really some weird shit right there.
Every time she builds a new account, I just, and it like, unfortunately, I'm not going to change my fucking number. So, with things like Instagram and Facebook, it's like, you may know this person. Yes, I do. Block them from everything. Don't let them see shit of mine. So no matter what she sort of creates, it's like, at least the internet remembers that once upon a time we knew each other, and it alerts me about that. And I hate seeing her face, but I'm like, block. Block her. Don't let her see anything. Don't let her know I exist in the world anymore. But she knows where I live. I mean, I let her stay with me in Florida. No, I didn't. My husband let her stay with us because she manipulated him. She told him, oh my God, me and my kids are sleeping at the beach right now.
Oh, yeah. I remember when she pulled that bullshit.
She did.
She like drove down here
from South Carolina.
She drove down here from South Carolina with her kids and then didn't have a place to stay, knowing that she could.
And I already told her she can't stay with me.
Knowing that she could play Tony because of his.
Because my husband's super sweet and he's got a big heart.
Kind.
And he worried about the kids. He's like, she can't be sleeping in the car with kids. And I'm like,
that was exactly what he said. She can't be sleeping in the car
with kids. And I told him, I said, yes, she can. She chose to do that. Like, she can drive her ass back to South Carolina.
But he let her stay with you again, huh?
He did, yeah. He let her. And you know what she kept trying to do? Get the kids in his lap. Here, read a book. Oh, look at this. Oh, Uncle Tony, Uncle Tony, Uncle Tony. Bitch, we're not family. Like, I saw it coming a year before this. I was like, I don't want this at all. I don't want this. I don't want to live next to you. I already know, because the reason that Kat was sort of talking about her unwellness mentally is because I know the things that she's done to her ex. She has told me about them. She has told me about the really crazy shit that she did to her ex to get back at him, because he was a fucking whore all the time. He slept with everybody, right? And she hated that so much, and she felt like she didn't have control over him, that she went wild. And between the drugs and the bad relationship with her ex, she really wasn't the Rachel that I knew anymore. Like, she's not the girl that I met. And I had to accept that. I was like, she's never going to be her again, because so much stuff has happened. And she went through a lot of shit. I know that her and Lee actually physically abused each other for a couple years while I was not in the picture. And I'm like, none of this is my problem. And we just don't match. I don't want to be friends with you. And she just kept coming for me. So it was, So I've been scared. For all the women who know me now and we're friends, this is why when you met me, I had a speech for you. I said, listen, I don't know that I'm a good friend, because I basically have never learned how to be one, truly. I didn't have good, healthy boundaries. I didn't know how to always show up for somebody. And when I do, I've always got this little voice in the back of my head of like, oh God, please don't let her like be crazy or not be who she says she is, or just whatever, like turn into this situation that's very uncomfortable for me. Trusting women was so hard. Very, very hard. But it was the way that I've learned to build my relationships better is just with full disclosure and honesty. So I would always tell people, like, I don't know if I'm a good friend. I have a really hard time getting back to people, which sometimes can piss people off. It's nothing personal. I set my phone down all the time and lose it. Like, I have to just basically, if you want to be friends with me, I have to tell you all these things first so that I know that you're never going to be like offended and mad at me and like thinking that there's some kind of game going, because I just don't know what a healthy female relationship looks like, like I just didn't have that ever. I realized I was being used or manipulated into shit, or like there was never a healthy one, and I didn't know what to do about that.
So do you think that stems from being bullied as a young...
Definitely from being... Well, yeah, I didn't even want to be...
or teen?
Yeah, I didn't even want to be... I never wanted to get to a place where it felt cliquish, because what you usually get bullied from cliques, right? So there was a group of Latina girls, and it was run by the most popular girl, and yes, she was very pretty and, like came from a good family or whatever, she was like richer than all of us. But she had this whole little group that would do anything that she said. And she actually had a twin. So there was like Jessica and Julia. And Jessica was the fucking super mean girl. She was like the girl from Mean Girls, the head girl, which now I can't think of her name, but love the actress.
Rachel McAdams.
She was Rachel McAdams in high school, where basically it was like whatever she said went, and everybody just followed suit. And I'm like, I'm a fucking art nerd. I'm not trying to become popular. I don't want to date any of the guys. Like, I'm good. And unfortunately for me, her boyfriend and I lived very close to each other, and we were friends. She hated that shit. She hated that, I guess I would see him more often sometimes, or like whatever. So she would try to get her little posse together and fight me. And what was crazy is, like, Jessica never actually hit me, and she never asked anybody else to hit me. She just intimidated the shit out of me all the time. They broke into my locker all the time and threw everything out of it, like ripped shit apart. So because I was a big art nerd, you know, I'd put together these projects I'd spend hours on, like painting stuff so they could go to shows. That was how I spent my years. I created art to go to fucking art shows, and like, hey, I have some really cool like awards from my artwork going to like New York and Washington, D.C. and stuff. I should be proud of that. But they didn't let me. You know, it was hard to feel proud when they just kept like ruining stuff. So that was probably one of the last straws, like one of my big projects that I worked on all year. It won the award. Everything was amazing. I had it in my locker so that I could take it home. Yeah, they trashed it. I never got it back. So sucky, shitty. Wish we had cell phones back then. I'd have a picture of it at least. But that was how she sort of tormented me. Then you get into like outside of school. I lived in an area where, you know, this was rough living. I mean, you walk home and you just might get your ass beat for no reason. I mean, there'd be groups of kids in the street, and if they were like, hey, she said something about your mama. I remember that happened. Oh my God, we were walking home, and it was literally like West Side Story sort of thing, where it's like, you know, I mostly hung out with all the Hispanic kids because they accepted me, I guess. But we'd be walking home on that side. Like, I'm at the end of the tail of it. I'm not accepted. I'm not in the group. I'm a straggler dog, like at the end where I can hear things happening, but I'm never in the group. And then it was like all the black kids on the other side of the street, and they're yelling through the houses each time you could see through yards. And I was like, this is fucking crazy. So you can't stop watching it.
Over on Lloyd?
Yeah, on Lloyd. And we're walking home.
We were in the city. We were in the inner city.
The inner city. Right by the actual projects and all of that.
Yeah.
So anyways, you got to walk through that to get home. And yeah, as they're yelling across from each other, there's an intersection where all the streets meet, and then all the kids gather, and they're just yelling at each other. And I was like, I'm on the very outs of the circle. I was like, this is fucking nuts. Like, I'm probably in 7th or 8th grade. Man, out of nowhere, this huge girl comes at me. She goes, and I didn't even know it was coming at me. She goes, what'd you say about my mama? And all of a sudden, I like looked around like, who's she talking to? And the whole group had moved back, and now I'm in the center of the circle somehow. Like, I don't even fucking know what happened. And I just went to run. And you know, back in the day when the 90s ponchos were cool, like the whole like Mexican poncho looking thing, that's what I wore a lot. She grabbed my hood and caught me. Like, I was running, but she had my hood. Yeah. And she got a couple whaps in before I ran and, like, got loose from her. But it was fucking terrible. I was like, what even happened? I don't even know your mom. How can I say anything about her? Like, I'm all logical and shit when these things are going on. Like, I don't even know you, your mom, your sister, your cousin. I don't know anybody you know. But it was little shit like that where you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna stick to myself now. Safety, this is a theme even with the men's side, where safety is being unseen. Unseen is safety, right? So you shrink yourself, you make yourself small, you stay quiet, you like stay in the back of the room, you do everything you can to not be seen or heard, because you have learned that when you get into the place where you are seen and heard, bad shit can happen. And this was just another example of growing up in an area where if you were loud, you were going to have to fight people. Like, that was it. You're going to be known, and people are going to come at you for no reason, or they're going to make a problem.
They're just trying to prove.
If you're an easy fucking target for them to be like, yeah, I beat that girl's ass last week. They don't care. They don't care who you are. It's not about that. It was like everybody needed status or to feel like a badass or to have something to talk about. Like, I don't know. Because I'll tell you what. The next fucking day when I was terrified to go to school because I didn't even know why she wanted to fight me and who would have told her I said something about her mom and like how the fuck this whole situation came about, I took my ass to school because I believe in rules, and the rule in my house was you go to school. But I was scared because, like, truly, I didn't know who she was, but now I knew who she was, and I was going to be looking for her everywhere, right? Come to find out, she's already in the principal's office, has turned herself in with her own mom, and is like bawling. And I didn't know what to do. I was like, what is happening? She was so apologetic. Like, I guess people had told her mom what happened. Her mom brought her in and was like, you're going to fucking pay for this. And like the whole scene, I was just like,
good mom.
I don't even know.
That's what I would have done with my kid.
Yeah. And you know what I did? I was like, no big deal. I was like, it's fine. I was like, I didn't know why it happened. And the girl, she couldn't even get words out. Like, she was just crying so hard. So I was like, I don't know what to make of this. I'm just, again, keep your head down, stay away from fucking groups, like sneak through, be hidden, Jayme, be hidden.
Go through life unseen so that you're safe.
Unseen and unheard, yeah.
And so that's where, when we finally get older, and I don't know, some people, well, now you're wanting to put yourself out there. So now you like
this
have
is such
to.
A switch. Yeah.
So now you don't have a choice but to take and I think one of the things you wanted to talk about was like,
yeah, I want to circle back to
this feeling of now today, like you like I've been encouraging Jayme, where it's like she's told you the story about how she's decided she's going to dress the way she's always wanted to dress.
Yeah.
She's gotten rid of like all of her workout clothes and all of her beard t-shirts.
All of my dress down, don't be seen, fit in, look like every other person out there. Yeah.
Look like a grandma and shit,
Not even a grandma. I look like I was going to the gym all the time. Or like I
just kind
not
of
that there's
like
anything wrong with that, but it was never me. I did it so that I wasn't seen, like, so that I was like hiding myself. Truly, I was hiding myself. That's
and
the best way to
so
describe
anyway, I encourage her to take pictures of her outfits because they're so flipping cute. And when she goes out, she gets compliments on them. And she's not yet. She's not yet ready to put herself out there. And I think it stems, and maybe you think that it may stem from all those years ago of being, like bullied by women.
By women.
When you put yourself out on the internet and you take a picture, I see this all the time. When people's like, you didn't have to say anything.
Yeah, it's
and
so
yet you
fucked.
chose to say something fucked up. Like, what's the matter with you? And there's a lot of that, especially online. You guys know, because online
everybody
is like,
knows that.
you don't have to explain online.
Of people's terrible opinions for no reason.
And then what do you do with that information when it happens? Then you're like, fuck, now you feel shitty about yourself. So it's a really,
and I don't want to go back to feeling shitty about myself. Like, I've worked for a long time to rebuild myself after all of the negative shit that has happened, and I look forward to building positive relationships and looking for people that truly fit me. And when they don't, it's okay. Like, I met a girl, we met twice, and she was like so down to come to our witches circle and just kind of hang out with other women and like vibe over a fire and wine. And I've invited her out twice and it's crickets, and I'm like, well, that's it then. She maybe she was just being nice to me and didn't know how to say no. That's okay. I'm not offended. I don't take it personally anymore. When you're getting bullied, it is very fucking personal, because you're wondering, what's wrong with me, and why me, and why am I being targeted, and like all the things they make fun of you for, is there something wrong with that? And not that in the beginning I never felt like there was something wrong with it. I just questioned, like, why do people make fun of that? So why is blonde hair and blue eyes funny? I don't get it. Like, I didn't ask for it. I was born this way, and like, so what's funny about it?
What's like super logical mind, like science mind, like, let me get in the lab and be like, dissect this here.
Yeah.
Like, and
it isn't logical, right? It's other people's emotions and the shit that they've been through, and like seeing the girl in the principal's office crying after she did what she did to me, because I can tell you guys, like, here's some real personal information. When that happened, I literally peed my pants. Like, the adrenaline hit so hard and everything in my body tightened, I wet myself. Like, I not full on peed onto my shoes, but I definitely tinkled on myself. I was like, like, what do you do? Like, fucking run, get out of there. Danger, lion attacking you, right? Mm-hmm. So remembering those feelings of what it's like to, that true fight or flight, I'm flight all the way for most of it. Yeah, I mean, if somebody was coming after my kid, now I have a lot of fight in me. And actually, when I got mugged in Barcelona, I fought back, which I didn't know I was going to do, so you don't know until you're in it. I guess I'm more pissed off now than I used to be. So I'll be like, I'll fucking fight you for my phone.
Well, maybe that's where we get to where we're just like pissed off and like, fuck it, fuck you, fuck this, fuck.
I'm not going to be taken advantage of anymore.
Who the fuck are you anyway? Like,
not going to let you do this to me.
I mean, fuck off.
Sorry, I had to take a drink.
Yeah.
But circling, the whole thing about being bullied by women that really wasn't apparent to me until I started trying to make healthy relationships with other women through witchcraft, by the way. That was the one place where I feel like I could connect with women, where I did feel like there would be trust, because if you're spiritual, at least there's sort of a criteria of what I think other witches would be like, that they would be more like me, you know? Maybe women who garden are not going to be like me and treat me like I want to be treated, you know, like as a sacred human being having an experience that, you know, might fuck up sometimes, but hey, I'm not mad at you. It's okay. We can like not talk for a month and it's all okay. But so finding the things in common with people doesn't mean that you're going to be super close, right? So gardening or a gym workout person. Remember Jada? I mean, we talked to Jada for a while. And then, you know, the relationships just sort of like dissolve naturally, or, you know, there's nothing left to talk about. But when it comes to witches and witchcraft and like you're better in your practice and you've been through all these other experiences and like what led you to the craft, that I feel like when you get centered with somebody who is on their spiritual journey as well, I did feel like I could lean in and trust that a lot more, because I was like, well, at least I perceived that they had morals and values like I did, you know.
Well, they're on a similar path, you know. They share their views of like what's important maybe in the world are also similar, because it's like nature and, you know, peace and
honoring
just,
things
you know,
like that,
and honoring traditions or you know, ancients or practices,
and usually not judgmental, because they're like, everybody should be able to do what they want, you know.
You have to let a lot of that go.
Yeah.
Or you do let it go just kind of naturally, because you realize how unimportant it is. Like, we're just here for a minute, and we're here having an experience. And when we can look at things like that, we're like, you know. I'm finally at the age where I'm like, okay.
The realization that like I can just let that shit go is like, look at that.
Yeah, you didn't even know you could do it, right?
I didn't.
You're like, damn. Nope. All those years I let all that shit bother me, because it really did.
It really digs in, right?
It did, and like then, because of
you have the little scars and the little marks that people have sort of left on you, where it's like, damn, that really stung, and I don't want to experience that again, you know. So what my logical brain did is like I would add up all the people and put them in a graph and be like, okay, so people who do this, like that wasn't a good fit, and then over here we got this, and so age also matters, and like so not younger people but older people and I would get along, and like literally very logical Virgo energy to analyze it all.
We're both Virgo rising, so that shit.
I had to analyze it all, and I didn't come across women that were really open about being a witch, and so it just led to me not really talking about it. You know, because again, fear of judgment, sort of shrinking myself down.
You practiced yourself for a really long time.
Since 1998.
Before you, but you talked to people about it. I'm telling you, you guys, every female friend I can bring up, I can tell you about how it went really sour. Like the girl that I actually did a couple of spells with, we celebrated a star together. Like we actually hung out for about 4 months solidly, but we would go out in town. This is when we lived in Japan near Yokosuka, so like sort of near Tokyo, big city, fun place, especially for younger people. There's so much to do. It's always bright lights, but Hanley and I would go out, and the trains only ran until a certain time, right? And so Hanley and I didn't live near each other. She lived at one end of the train stop. I lived at the other train. She would make sure that she found a guy that she could take home to her house to sleep with just one night. She was a very one-nighter. And then she would bail on me and leave me there alone. So I had to figure out my own way home. I'm all alone. Oh, no.
1 or 2 in the
really
morning.
Bad
every time.
Girl code, man.
So this is when Jolene was like, you're not a girl's girl. And I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, shit.
So I didn't realize that I had already been taught that. And I told her, I was like, dude, that's fucked up. Like, why do you keep doing that? She's like, Jayme, like, I gotta get mine. Like, I gotta leave by 1, or that's the last train. I gotta lock this in and go. Her priority was getting laid every time we went out. It was not about our friendship. It was not about staying true to each other. It was not about looking out for one another, which is where my mind was, because we're witches together. Like, you stay with your people. But for her, it was not about that. It was about catching the last train home with a man that she could fuck. That was it. That was like her whole goal. And you know, there was another time that being used as gay bait, which I didn't even know what the fuck that was till I was in the Navy. So
gay bait.
Yep. when you're, yeah, I don't know if it's still a thing. This is just what they told me when I was in, specifically, is when, so heterosexual men, not safe because they want to sleep with you. Women, not safe because they leave you for other people. I'll just be friends with gay guys. They're wonderful. They know fashion. They're like, talk me up. I love gay men. I know, right?
They are the best. Literally, they're the kindest and most fun and
most genuine. Like, they just say really, what's on their mind. It's like you don't ever have to wonder what they're thinking.
I've known a few. I haven't had any friends, but I would totally have like gay guy friends. I would love to have a gay guy friend.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah,
I see gay men couples on Instagram. I'm like, I want to be your guys' friend. You look so fun.
Yeah, I want to be your next door neighbor. Like,
but I'm pretty shut off. I don't actually talk to any of my neighbors. So they're all older anyways. It doesn't count.
But go ahead with the gay date. What is that?
So I ended up, what I did my last year in the Navy is, there was, and when I was in, so I got out in 2005. So when I was in, it was like, don't ask, don't tell, right? So it also was don't ask, don't tell, don't show. So you can't have pictures of you like kissing a same-sex person and then people bring it up to the chain of command and blah, 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 blah. But nobody fucking cared. Like, we had, on the ship, there was self-proclaimed segregation for women and men's barracks that it was like, nope, this is just where all the people who are, bi whatever, who want to do this, they naturally wanted to group together. And nobody fucking complained. We're all like, yeah, do your thing, man. It's not like you couldn't, everybody still had to get naked and shower in front of each other, but nobody ever worried about it. It was never a big deal. So in my day in the military, gay was okay. Like, there was no big deal. We talked about it all the time. Gay is okay. Gay is okay. It didn't, nobody fucking cared. It was like, you can try to get kicked out for being gay. People will push the picture back to you and be like, get the fuck out of here. So what? So what? So what? Anyway, became really good friends with a guy who was super sweet and so fun and like never left me. We hung out all the time. But then I started to learn that we would go to the bar and the men that would come over to talk to me, he would start flirting with and stuff. I didn't care. Fucking, I don't go. If they want to go for it, I don't care. But it wasn't until later that that's what somebody told me it was. He wasn't my friend because we were friends. He was my friend because he had opportunities. His game was to try to turn straight guys gay. And I was like, I don't think you can do that just by giving people blowjobs. I'm just saying, I don't think that's the way it works. But in his mind, that was what he did. I'm being very frank about all of this. I hope you guys can handle it. But it's, so this friend that I had, that I thought really had my back, because we were always together. He never left me, right? So in each progression of a friendship, I looked for the thing that the other person didn't do. So Hanley always leaving me, I was like, I need to find somebody who doesn't leave me at the bar alone and like fend for myself. He never did. He would get these guys' numbers, and like after we would get back to base, he would hit them up and then like go to their rack, go to their room, go wherever the fuck they were, and then they would have some kind of sexual encounter, and then the guy would get fucking weird about it, and he's like, that idiot, like he's gay and he doesn't even know it. And I kept thinking, I'm like, I don't think that's the way it quite works. Like, I feel like you're being used. And I would tell him that. I was like, I think you're being used. I think you should stop doing that. Like, please don't.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. So that's when...
This is why I only had like one friend. Like, throughout my 20s, I had one friend.
I tried.
And that's pretty much been my MO through my life, though. Like, I have one best friend at a time only.
What about girl bosses? Like, I've had women bosses who, again, are like... You wear makeup, you're going to be a problem. Like, what is that?
What female bosses have I had? Michelle. She was my boss. I can't remember. Most of my bosses have been men.
Yeah. Though. I've had 3 female bosses, all of which fucking hated me. And, just basically told me that if I stopped putting as much into like the makeup or worrying about my outfit, like I would do better work, basically.
Yeah.
My very first boss that I was actually, so it was in the Navy, but I thought because I had this like position that was outside of my rank, I was at E4, but I held an E5 position. I thought that I would get like kudos for that, right? She comes in, like she's taking over my position. I'm leaving Guam. I got to go to Japan, but I'm like, there's a whole turnover thing for like 3 months where she sort of shadows me, but she was a higher rank than me. And I did my hair, I did my makeup, I had, everything's within fucking standards of like military stuff, but nails, all of that. I liked to look nice. That felt good to me. And she put me down about it so fucking much, of like, that it's a waste of time, that I must be looking for something else. I have ulterior motives. Do I think I'm going to sleep my way to the top? And I'm just like, dude, seriously?
Yeah.
And I learned, so afterwards, her and I, towards the end of it, she realized that I'm not that girl. Like, And she told me about all of the shit that she got in her first years of the Navy about that. And she grew up as a deck seaman, so she started in a place where they don't have a technical job. They're just in the Navy, and then they get to pick their job after 2 years. They get to try out all these things. It's called a deck seaman, and you're undesignated. Like, they can make you do any fucking job. You can be painting the ship one minute, helping the ship pull into fucking port. You could be like serving in the cafeteria. Like, there's just they get to tell you whatever, and they make it sound really good when you're like getting in the military. They're like, you could choose any job you want. No, the fuck you can't.
No, they tell you. They tell you. Right?
You're gonna get the dirtiest jobs ever, and nobody respects you, and it's gonna be really fucking hard to work your way up from the very bottom of the boat. So I learned about her and her struggles, and that was one thing that really got drilled into her, is that you do not need to look good in order to do your job. And so she was raised in a mentality with that in her beginning years in the Navy, and she tried to come in and really push that upon me. And the only thing that I can say is that she didn't, but I ended up breaking her a little bit of that whole bias. But she never wore makeup. She was a gym rat like nobody's business. Like, she wanted to be a guy almost to get the respect. That was how she felt like she was going to get respect, if she was able to maintain things like a man, lift what they could, do their job, not wear makeup, not be like, I don't worry about all that.
Never going to happen.
I saw her trying to fit into something where she must have got so bullied for anything that was her, and she was turned into this completely different person, and felt like she had to live by that, because if not, people were going to bully her for that, wearing makeup. What is that, fucking eyeshadow on? You got eyeshadow on? Oh, you had time to do that, but you didn't have time to do blah, 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 blah. Like, I can put on eyeshadow in my own fucking free time. Like, what's wrong with you? I was here on time, right? So there's just this perception that you take when you're being bullied, right? Of like, ooh, there must be something wrong, or something, maybe I need to alter myself. So you shut parts down, you lock people out, you try different things, you try different friend groups, you try different people, places, times, ethnicities, like,
and eventually you just withdraw.
Yeah, you
just withdraw when you just keep having the same experiences. You're like, yeah, well, this sucks. I just think I'm just gonna bow out.
Being alone is easier. I used to say that a lot. Yeah, like, being alone is just easier. Like, on me.
I think I think today, especially, a lot of people can probably relate to that because of the kind of like hyper, elevated energy environment that we live in society as a rule. You go out and things can get confrontational really fast, really easily. People get offended very easily, and things can escalate quickly in just situations that you wouldn't even expect. You're like, what? Where'd that come from?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure you can feel the energy when you go out in certain areas, and I'm just like, yeah, this doesn't feel, there's too much here. There's too much going on. I bet our listeners have experienced the same.
I'm sure.
And then you're like withdrawing. And part of that withdrawing is missing out on these great friendships that you could have had if you could have, I don't know what it is, Jayme. Do you think it's boundaries that has to happen? Do you think it's finding your voice that has to happen? I mean, what would be different if you could look back and say, I would do something different, or I wish I had known, or I mean, not when you're young, of course, because that's out of our control. But like with Rachel, or has there been anyone after Rachel? There hasn't, has there?
Well, I mean, even though Tracy and I have never met in person, I'm very close with her. Like, I feel like...
No, I mean, that went sour. I mean, that turned into manipulative situations, or like, yeah.
Well, no, because even like...
Slutzerface wasn't your friend.
Slutzerface was not my friend. Yeah, see, this is a bad habit I have about talking about women, which I would like to stop, but Slutzerface's name is just her name. We also call her Horosaurus, which is one of my favorites. And she has.
So wait a minute, are we bullying then?
Probably. That's what I'm saying. I try not to call women names anymore. I don't use the word like really bitch. I don't, nothing like that, because now that my son
I just realized that was a really bad example. I just sat there by using that name. by
Sluts-her-face?
by saying that. Yeah, I mean, here we are talking about bullying, and then we're bullying someone who's not here to defend.
I didn't bully her. Actually, she and her kids were actually turned in for bullying my child, who was 12 at the time. So there has been a lot of bad blood with her, and I'm not afraid to talk bad about her at all. She's a terrible person. I mean, it's like calling Rachel unstable. I never said Rachel was a bitch, right? Like, I don't...
Yeah.
There's not these... but she was unstable, and she didn't have healthy boundaries, and she tried to use and manipulate me, and she bullied me into situations, and she took advantage of me a lot, and she knew, because I had this, like, very soft, kind heart, that she could, and she used that to her advantage, and that's very wrong. Sluts-her-face not being my friend is more about... We don't like saying her name, because when we say her real name, it's like you cringe, you know, it's like saying Chuck, or, you know, when I used to say David, you know, there used to be this, like, cringe with saying their real names, and you're like,
you know those people we're talking about. You've probably got one in your life where you're like, I hate that name now, and I will never have it. Right. I'll never ever date anybody that's a Capricorn or whatever. Yeah,
so there's these experiences where you're like, I cannot get along.
Scarred for life.
Yeah, for life. What was really great of the universe, I had two really bad names. I had two people in my life that things ended in very, very, very bad ways. And, like, you know, my stepdad's name was Chuck, who was super abusive. That was one of our first stories this year. And then the guy that I first dated, which I haven't told that story yet, but his name was David. So I had a Chuck and a David, where I was like, I will never be friends with people with those names. I can't say them out loud. I don't, like, everything was too deep.
There's a visceral, I think that the point you're making is that there's this, just like, you know, it's on a cellular level. You feel,
like, you start to get bubbly guts, and you're like,
you feel it. So that's why
we created a different name for her.
Is Sluts-her-face.
But it's also fun to say.
I do like it as a name. You guys are so clever with your names.
That was my sister got Sluts-her-face. I think.
And what? Horosaurus?
Horosaurus. That one makes me giggle, you know?
She's an awful person. But anyway, so.
She got those names because she slept with men for items. So I feel very justified in calling her that.
Judgy.
No, justified. Sorry. That's judgy, isn't it?
She did what she had to do.
Wait. No. Let me tell you a little bit of the story, because this is not about her. Because she did bully Cameron. You know that? Her and her fucking kids, through cell phones. I had records and I had to turn them into Sarasota police because they would not stop.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
So her and her children... We were friends. This was more my sister's friend from work, and then all the shit she did to Jolene, trying to get her caught. Like, she was selling stolen products and all this shit, and then signed it all over to Jolene, and was like, because they thought they were friends, Jolene almost got fucking caught up in a whole legal thing. I don't use the B word, but I can call her Sluts-her-face. Deep breath, Jayme. There's still emotion around that, you know, because my kid still remembers, and we all still see each other. Her son, you know, Mason, her son, the middle one that she was really fucked up to, he just got arrested for going like 90 through a school zone and on his motorcycle, and like basically waving at the cops, and put on his fucking helmet like Pigs 0, and had like a 3 mark for him. He had done this. He was literally trying to get the cops to chase him on his little fast motorcycle. Yeah. So not that moms are always responsible for their kids' actions, but that's all I got. Okay, this is how she got Horosaurus from me. Because when we went to her house, and she was a clean freak, which I loved. I was like, oh my God, you literally wash your baseboards like every month. I think that's great. Her house is so tidy. It's like I'm sort of a weird clean freak, and I see little things, and I'm like, oh, cringy, you know, like I'll wait to go to the bathroom if I'm like, yeah, this is not clean enough for me. So being in her space was really nice. Like all the outside projections that she had was really nice. But you go in her bedroom, and she wanted to become a witch, and that's sort of how this whole thing got started, where we're hanging out, and Jolene was like, hey, you should teach her. And, you know, like, this is what I did. I basically took one-on-one cases and sort of taught them witchcraft and got them involved in things and showed them stuff and, like, did tarot and talked to them about stuff. And we're in her room one day, and she's got this extensive collection of Fossil watches. I know absolutely zero about Fossil as a brand, Fossil watches, why they would be a big deal. I have no idea. I don't think they're super expensive, a Fossil watch.
I don't know.
think so, but
I don't know anything about them.
I really don't know. I was like, it's not a fucking Rolex. Like, I know that's an expensive watch brand, and there's probably 1,000 other ones, but I'm old, and the only one I know is Rolex. So, because that's what rappers wanted. I don't know. Like, I'm not into brand shit. I'm not into fancy shit. I love Goodwill, and I like used clothes. So I don't know. But her dresser in her room had this like homemade bar. Okay, so wooden slat, whole bar thing, and it had all these watches. And I was like, I've never in my life seen a person with so many watches. And I asked her the story behind them. And she told me that in order for a guy to sleep with her, he has to buy her a fossil watch. And this is what she did. This was her project. This was her hobby. And that's the way she said it. She was like, I don't really care about them. I just want all of the watches. And I was like, how many are there? Like, how many more do you have to go? I feel like you're like, when you take your kid
do they come out with a new edition every year?
Yeah, I don't know. Are there more? Do you have some in the drawer? Like, where? And when I realized that she was a collector of watches, but she got them through sleeping with people, I really had to step back. I was like, I don't think you're ready for spirituality at all. Like, I don't know how to teach you anything if that's what you live by. And I just stepped back a lot. I was like, I don't want to do circles with her. I don't want to cast with her. Not that we ever did. It was like, but that was where everybody was trying to get to, me, Jolene, and her, is like to try to form something, right? Really try to form the first ideas of what
a little witch community was.
Yeah, like that was sort of the first thing. And with her sleeping with people for items, I was like, I don't think you're really in touch with your spiritual self yet. You're very base
we're not
level.
Aligned.
And like, I don't know how to support you in your mission of that. I don't think I have any words of advice for that. I think tarot can tell you.
Be worth something one day, so she's got something to show for it. Otherwise,
I have no idea.
A watch?
I don't know. She, I don't know. I don't know what it was about that. So that was where afterwards, I could have said a lot of bad stuff about her, especially since she bullied my own child, and like I had to go to the police with this stuff. Like, it got so bad that her kids were sending threatening messages in the middle of the night to Cameron, and they didn't even go to the same school or anything. It was like, we just all go to the same beach. We end up hanging out at the same place, so I'm gonna have to see this person. And I was like, you're not gonna fucking bully my kids. I'm making an official report. This is really happening. This is on theme with bullying, believe it or not. That's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't know this would come up.
There's a lot of bullies in the world. It manifests in a lot of different ways.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Like everywhere, and don't even realize that it's actually bullying. It's manipulative.
It's manipulation.
But that's also, it's also
a form of it. Yeah, it's really,
it's very pervasive in our society, and that's one of the reasons why I think people who are like sick of that shit, and you're not religious, you don't want to go to church, like witchcraft, because all the people that gravitate to witchcraft are like, we're not like that. I don't think we are anyway. I think girls who travel, who get into witchcraft, whether they were in it young, always felt like it, never did it, finally get the courage at 50 years old, whatever. When we finally get to that place, you're like, listen, I come here as a weird girl who never got accepted anywhere, and I really want to find my community because I know there are other people like me, and I want to know how to find them because they're not in grocery stores and gyms and in parking lots and in traffic and sitting at stoplights. Like, we don't see each other. And that was one of my things with, we have somebody knocking at our door. Oh, my goodness. Excuse me.
Oh, my gosh. This has never happened before. Please look through the window and make sure you know who it is before you open it. It is, not an early hour.
No, there's flashing lights out there.
I know. We had, gosh, I'm breaking the story, and I'm probably not going to remember what I was talking about.
Oh, I wasn't even aware it was off. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Okay.
I think Kat just got a notice that her water was off?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
A lot of activity on my street.
They're still doing repairs from the hurricane from 2 years ago. That hurricane set. I don't know.
That interruption?
Yeah, I don't know where I was or what I don't know. I started to get really worried. I don't like a knock on the door late at night.
It's strange to have a knock. Nobody knocks on my door.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, late at night, it's 8 o'clock, but it's not that.
Yeah. Okay, so
we were going back to the bullying thing and things coming around. And did I finish with Slutzer Face? I think I finished up that story. Yeah, you did.
I think we were getting to is like there's a lot.
Weird girls coming to witchcraft. I got
weird girls, but it's not just weird girls that come to witchcraft.
No, I just think we feel weird. I think we know we're different. I say weird girl in the most loving way of like, we know we're different. We know we're not like whatever that popular thing is, that groupie thing that need to be accepted and turn yourself into whatever you need?
I think what you're describing, the people they're kind of like cookie cutters. It's like they all want to fit. They
desire to fit in.
They want to. They try to be the same because they're uncomfortable with standing out and being different. And
they want to be accepted.
And so the way to do that is to conform and to be like everybody else. And then you have the people who don't want to conform, and they're just like, I just want to talk to plants and have pets and stuff like that, and I don't really care about trying to fit in with a group and trying to be look like all the other moms on the block or all the other ladies. And the conformity, it's part of not wanting to conform and be individual, and have
And this is definitely one of the things where if you've in the last 6-8 years, there's been this whole thing called the witch wound, which has been brought up, and that's not exactly what they called it when I was learning witchcraft, but that's the popular thing to call it now. It's called the witch wound, and it does talk about, when you look it up, it's very well written about now. It's about how women, first off, we were pitted against each other because if you were a group of women doing anything together, you could be considered a witch. It was very dangerous for you, so you didn't want to be friends with women. You needed to follow what society said about you, because if you were outside of that, you could be considered a witch. And in those days, you were punished for that, to be that person that stood out. There was a time in history where being different from what was expected from you was very dangerous.
Potentially fatal.
Very dangerous. Fatal,
Often fatal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
because men didn't, and society, which was men, didn't tolerate it. And neither did women. I mean, if you watch, you're a Bridgerton fan, right?
I watched Bridgerton,
how the women who, one of the characters her husband divorced her in Bridgerton, and right now I can't think of her name, but she was, she'd been in the group of all the women who meet for teas and are on these committees and do all these things, right? And this is what is this, early 19th century, early 20th century? Is it 1900s?
Not really 20th century. I think it's
is it in the 1800s? Okay, yeah. So 1840.
Don't quote us. We don't actually know.
Anyway, so maybe it's early 1800s where, I forgot what I was saying now. I lost my train of thought.
Because if you were shunned in society, that was a very dangerous place to be. And so if you did anything outside of the norm, like get divorced, have children out of wedlock.
Oh my God. Yeah. You were just, as a woman, you were you were ostracized or actually just actually tossed out of society. Yeah. You couldn't even live in the same town where your friends were. So in Bridgerton, one of the ladies, her husband divorces her because he wants to be with someone else or asks for a divorce. She has to be the one to initiate it. But when that happens, all of the other women are all of a sudden it's a divorced woman, it's the worst thing, and it wasn't even her fault. Yeah, but so this shunning of women because they're different, because they don't conform, has been going on since men started ruling the fucking world, which is right now.
Since they started thinking they could be in charge.
Well, which is why we're going to change that, because women need to rule the world, because we wouldn't be like that. We wouldn't be trying to control everybody. We'd just be let's take care of the children and the animals and
the land.
And make sure all the kids are fed, and let's make sure the kids grow up to be good people, and that they contribute to the world, and let's take care of the people who can't take care of themselves because they're ill in some kind of way and shit like that.
We have a kindness about us that men, I just don't think, are usually born with. It doesn't mean it doesn't ever happen, because
men are fucked up. I'm sorry to say, but men right now they're in a bad spot. They're in a bad spot, but that's going to be another podcast. Yeah. So how do we want to wrap this up?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is one of the reasons why I brought up this specific bullying thing, especially from women, is that it's been extremely hard for me to make deep connections with women, to trust myself being involved with them, to trust that they want to be involved with me for, not nefarious reasons, or not to get their way or get something out of me, because I'm very giving. Once people get to know me, I'm very open giving of my time, space, everything, resources. It doesn't matter, because in the end, I think standing by people is what lasts, right? The connections that you make, that's what lasts. The shit comes and goes, the stuff, the whatever, and the cycle of who's in need, and sort of sometimes your life is you're
Sometimes you're at the top of the wheel, sometimes you're at the bottom of the wheel.
That's what I was trying to think of. I'm like, there's this roller coaster that we go through, and we need the support, right? We need the support when, if I'm doing really fucking good, I'm looking for all the women who aren't doing really good right now. I'm like, hey, come, let's share in the resources, share in the love, share in the light that I have right now. Because it's not always that way. Last year, I didn't have anything to give. I was fucking wiped out, so the friends that I was able to get with, and when I could, that was so special to me. I mean, Selena, I hadn't seen her in like a year and a half, and even when Brianna and I got together, that was hard. Like sometimes it'd be 4 months before we saw each other, but it was just like life was really giving it to me, and I had to take that break. And what I told all of the women in my life was that this is where, for me, you just get really honest about your situation. We don't try to hide it, and we don't try to pretend like everything's fine, it's perfect, we're doing great, everything's well. No, tell me if something is wrong. Tell me if things are going on. Like, let me send you healing energy. And I think that in our circle now, that's what we have a lot of. I'm no longer afraid to be like, can't make it, man, I don't feel good. Or if we're in a thing like, hello, iPad? I don't want to message anybody. Sorry about that. I guess it's hearing me say all my contacts' names. It's ready to send messages.
For those of you who are not seeing this, Jayme had her iPad in her lap, and it was open, and she started saying names, and all of a sudden Siri responded.
Yeah, Siri's like, who do you want to message? I'm like, nobody right now.
Nobody's talking to you.
Shh, mind your place.
Apple, get out of my life.
That's why it's a man's voice. I'm like, shh, need to be quiet, cozy right now. Yeah, I think that being able to tell people what you're really feeling and not being afraid of a backlash, say, I'm going through hard shit right now, and then not worried about them saying, God, you just always have so much going on. I don't think we can be friends. Like, this isn't a good fit. Like, they want you to be sunshines and bubbles all the time. I can't handle that kind of upkeep. And I feel like when you get into
that's a lot.
The clickiness of people of like, we get together and we do this and everybody's got to be fucking happy right now. It's like, that's not convenient. I can't just...
Well, don't try to dictate my moods and tell me what I got to be in. That'll piss me off. But,
I think that's more of the beautiful thing is now it's like, if you're not in a great mood, but you show up, you're like, I really want to be a part of this, but I've got like 6 things going on, so I don't look great, but I want to be here and see all of you. And, that happened to me in January, where I was having a really hard day. I was like sick, in pain, just didn't feel good. But I showed up anyways, and I just told everybody. And I've never, ever been able to be that honest and not feel guilt for it.
So just to give you a little context, we had our first Witches Circle meeting in January. Get together, not meeting, but get together. We're gathering.
It's a gathering.
We're like switching around houses. So there's 3 of us, and we're going to trade off this year, and we're going to get witches together, like host it. So I'm hosting this Saturday, but the first one was January. And so we had like 6 or 8 of us there.
Yeah, I think
8. So that I just wanted
I didn't feel well. I felt like shit. And I really was like, I didn't participate in some of the things that everybody was doing because I was like, I just don't feel well enough, but I want to be here. Like that is what I can do right now.
That is a step. I mean, that's a big step to just, it's very unselfish of you to do that. But also, I mean, just think of what that says about your growth. Like, you want to show up.
Definitely.
Even though you can't. And you also feel safe enough with these women to say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not really feeling like myself, so I'm not going to be my bubbly, entertaining self that I usually am. But
I'm not going to talk everybody's ear off.
But I do, I want to be here because I want to participate in this.
Too.
I want to see everyone, and I want to participate in this,
the gathering.
The gathering. So, and I think that, just the fact that, you're 40, about to be 45 on Sunday.
On Sunday,
is that right?
Yeah, the day after this podcast comes out, 45 years old.
It's taken you it's almost taken you that long to get from where you were bullied in the 6th grade and all the fucked up relationships that you went through and having to cut people off and cut yourself off from folks and make yourself disappear to finally get to this safe place, to finally get to a place where you're like, I trust myself and I trust these women and I can go into this space and it's okay for me to tell them that I'm not 100% today, but that but I want to be, I'm here because I want to be with you.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100%, and they accept that.
Of course, yeah.
They accept
that. Well, that's the being able to be vulnerable and know that there's not a backlash, there's not a, you know,
there's not like pressure. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, come on, like
have a drink, you'll feel better, or something
exactly.
crazy like that.
The pressure to
here's an Adderall. No, just kidding.
Here, take this. You'll feel better in an hour.
Yeah. Take one of mommy's little pills or something. Like, I don't know. Jeez, really, everybody just held space, and like I just wanted to be there, and it was great. And I think that the way that this sort of tied into me talking about it, I know that at one point we were going to go off on this, but me dressing the way that I want to now is inviting more and more women into my life to have experiences with them, positive or negative. And I knew that it could be either, right? If you guys haven't seen me in person, which probably not necessarily in person, but on film, camera, just seen me, I have rather large tatas for my size. And that is probably one of the biggest things that women get offended about, or look at me like, oh, showing a lot of boob today, huh? It's like, they're fucking big. What do you want me to do about it? Like, do you want me to hide them when we wear a turtleneck all the time? That's been one of my struggles, and why I've really shut down dressing myself, because I was always trying to hide this part of me that I have literally no control over, unless I got a breast reduction, and why go through surgery if I don't have to? But then I sort of I definitely got made fun of for them in a way that's ridiculous. Oh God, I'm going to say it online. I'm going to put it out there in the world.
You're going to put it out on the internet for perpetuity. Oh my God, perpetuity.
Maybe other people got this name too. I don't know. I don't know if this is a common thing that people would call.
Now you got to tell us.
Tits McGee.
Tits McGee.
Tits McGee was one of the nicknames that stuck for a very long time. And I was like, I don't even know if that's a real thing. Like, I never looked it up. Yeah. Anyways.
But just the fact that you were just reduced to the size of your breast.
Right.
I mean, that's really what they're saying. It's like you're just walking tits.
That's what you're known for.
You're walking tits. Like, that's it.
I was called the letter P. I was called Cookies. Okay, there was all of these little names that like are describing something about me, where that's...
was this men and women?
Men and women, yeah. I got the name Cookies from a girl.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
We're so mean.
So... you try to laugh with it, you try to go on with it, but like really what it does is if you let it affect you like I did for so long, it shut me down, and it made me want to hide things. And now that I'm dressing the way that I want to, I was just telling Kat this story. My mother-in-law just recently moved into memory care. She's been diagnosed with late-stage dementia, and I have to be around other people who are much older in age, and they don't have all their faculties. And so, of course, manners might be askew. Like, they might do things. And so yesterday, when I introduced myself to one of the women, she looked at my face, looked straight down at my tatas, and then looked at my face again and was like, she could not stop staring at the cleavage that I had. And I was like, I don't know, I feel uncomfortable, but she's not all there. And I'm like, that's okay. Like, maybe it's been a minute. I don't know what she's thinking. But what I had to do to myself is like, Jayme, turn that off. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what she thinks about you. Who cares? Doesn't matter. Let it go.
And that's where we finally get to, too, is like...
And that's where we get to.
Yeah,
that's
where
the whole point.
You're finally okay.
I have to not care about what people fucking think of me in one way or another.
And this, about people judging you. And I think that's really, that's the gist of it. Like, you just have to get to the point where you realize that you don't have to spend the energy on the people that you don't even know and that don't have any impact in your life.
That don't know you.
They don't know you, and they're judging you.
Making shit up.
They're judging you based on the cover of the book, and they know absolutely nothing about your life. And you have to be able to get to a point where you're like, brush that shit off.
So that's where it starts.
Otherwise, if you don't,
it
will permeate you and your soul and your psyche, and you'll withdraw just like you did for so many years.
So many years without friends, so lonely. And I think that that's where you go from, the evolution is to be bullied and have all these hurtful things said about you, and you're not liked and you're not accepted, and you just you try everything that you can, and you've shut yourself down, and you've changed yourself, and you've tried to conform, and then you've rebelled against it, and then you've just cut everybody out, and then you're really alone, and you're still not happy. Like, none of this makes you fucking happy. My happiest right now is that I'm doing what the fuck I want with myself, and I don't care what anybody else has to say or think about it. That is happiness to me now.
That's where we have to get to.
And I didn't know that was going to be my definition of happiness. Like, if somebody asked you, what is your definition of happiness for you? What is happiness? being able to do what the fuck I want to do, not caring about what anybody thinks about it, and I'm happy doing what I want to do. Like, just...
And you're not letting other people's opinion
I'm not letting it
you.
in. I'm just not letting it in, you know?
So you got like a shield around you, a magic shield. It's like, ping, bounce off.
I have a magic filter of like...
Magic filter?
It's a magic filter. That's how I think of it. Because I see the eyes coming in. I see the looks. Or, you know, honestly, there's been so much positive.
You recognize them.
I recognize the things, right? Yeah. So I'm very trained and, like, I'm super observant.
You're picking up on the...
I see
you pick up on the vibrations.
I do.
You pick up on the snarky
and now,
little... You can almost feel the eyes roll after they've walked past you.
I know. Like, I try in no way to expose myself because I think that you know, to be indecent would be like one thing.
But you're not.
No, I have shorts on underneath stuff and I like, you know, I have cleavage. There's just nothing I'm going to do about it. That's just what I'm born with. And everybody's going to have to like, that's like blue eyes. I was just born with these little guys. Like, I can't do anything about it. So you can be mad about it all you want or not like that they're showing or that your man is looking at me because he likes something. Not my fucking fault. You need to address that shit over there. So... that is where I got to, is there's this filter now when I feel the things coming in, they don't actually penetrate. I actually kind of smile about it and like, yeah, I remember when I used to think that was like a big deal or like, when I needed to like, you know, cover up or do something else or like, oh my God, don't go on that outfit again.
Or it made you feel self-conscious, like there was something wrong with you.
Yeah, I took it personally, definitely. I felt like it was an actual reflection of who I was.
Yeah.
And now, I just don't give a fuck. No.
Well,
that's my magic filter.
My thing wasn't bullying. My thing was that everybody thought I was a bitch just because I was like stony faced. I had really...
I thought about you with that, yeah.
I have really good resting bitch face, and that was, again, you know, it was similar to Jayme. Mine was not bullying. Mine was just getting fucked over by literally everybody. My parents, both my parents, and, you know, then thrown into a system and then having to, you know, live through that. And you build these walls around yourself and you don't let people in. And so mine was like, I would just be like aloof. I'm like that. I'm a little bit like that anyway, because I always stand back and watch people, and I'm not just like the life of the party ever. I'm more like the one that's like watching everyone. But you know, you build these walls around you after those things happen. So yeah, people would tell me, I've had 2 girls that ended up being my best friends tell me that when they first saw me, not when they met me, but when they first saw me
across the room,
they thought I was a bitch. They thought I was a bitch because of what they saw. And that's what I was projecting.
Yeah.
And that was protection. You know, that was me protecting myself.
That's why I changed.
Like stay back because I can't trust, you know.
That's why I turned, when you said you have a magic shield around you, that's why I was like, you know, a shield is a little too strong because the shield is like keeping people away.
It bounces off. Yeah.
That's why it's more the filter, because the people are still going to do what they're going to do.
I think filter is a good way, because you do have to filter out.
You do.
You do have to eventually like let your mind rest and, you know, and get away from like, there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong, which is how you internalize all the things that happen. Or not, there's something wrong with me, but what is wrong with me? Why does everybody pick on me? Why do people don't like me? Why do they think I'm this? Why do they think I'm that? You know, it's like I haven't even done, I'm just standing here and all of a sudden I'm getting like snatched because some girl's saying, what'd you say about my mom? And it's like, what?
Like, you know,
like
how do you even know me? How do we know each other? Yeah. I think the other thing is understanding, like, that filter is also about, and maybe you guys can relate with this, is if people look at you and they're unhappy with something, that is their fucking problem. Like, first off, why should I care that you're upset by my outfit? That is not on me. That is on you. You're upset. I can't make you feel that way. You're allowing yourself to become upset because you don't like something that I'm wearing. Fucking don't look. Look away. Do something else. I definitely
remove yourself from the situation.
If I'm somewhere and I don't like what's going on, I'll just leave. I'm like, I'm uncomfortable here. Instead, people want to make it your problem. Like, I mean, I have seen, not that I watch any of the news stuff, but I've definitely seen people with like shirts and hats, political stuff, and then people get into actual brawls over it.
Oh my goodness.
Like, they get into real fights.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, just walk away. I mean, sports people are the fucking worst too.
Oh yeah,
the fucking worst. That's
sports
not
fans.
Quite the way. But
sports fans.
Yeah. It would be
competing teams. Really, they
absolutely.
Can really get.
They can be really crazy. Like I remember being
over the top.
Yeah, I can remember being in Chicago, and Tony was like, "I will not wear any Packers stuff here because
because Chicago
team,
will fuck you up."
I mean, they literally have a tunnel that they go through where they're like, "Fuck the Packers," and they're not even playing the Packers, but like that was just what they always say that through the tunnel. And my husband being a Packer fan, he's like, why are they so mad? I'm like, listen, we don't need to find out, okay? We're just going to keep walking. We're not going to say anything. It was a fun football game. Let's just continue walking with the crowd. Like, let's not do anything. But so people have opinions about stuff, and they're going to get upset about it, but that's on them. That's their opinion, right? It's not fact. It doesn't have to be fact for us.
Yeah.
So that's why I say the filter, because I guess I just realize... and being with my husband has helped. I think I've told you about, like, we were in a pizza shop one time, and my husband is 20 years older than me, and, you know, I already look younger than I am. People don't think that I'm 45, and, you know, he's 65 now, so when we were going out 12 years ago, I really looked a lot younger, and I dressed younger too. I dressed like a hot little thing with tall heels and all of that. And I remember the older women staring at us, and I would get so uncomfortable. I was like, I don't want to be here. Like, they're judging us. They don't, you know, we're like literally in love. It's my perfect person. But they don't know that. They probably think and this is how I felt. I'm like, they think I'm a bot hooker, and I don't want to feel like that. Well, I'm letting myself feel like that, right? Like, there was no filter there for me. I was going
to say they think you're a gold digger. That's what I would have thought.
Okay, yeah. Either way. But what it felt like to me was they were... Girl. A hooker.
Is that what they thought?
I didn't ask them.
Oh, okay.
I just kept walking.
Was that the looks you were getting? Because
it was definitely like...
the vibe.
They were like, ew, you're disgusting. They like had disgusted looks. So fast forward.
Boy, those are...
6 or 7 years later, we're married. We're in our own little town. We're at a little pizza shop. It's actually where one of his old offices used to be. We're in fucking Venice, Florida. Like, I get it. There's a lot of older people, but there's a lot of people who vacation here too. It's not just a retirement town. We're at this pizza place, and we're trying to enjoy our pizza, and there are 3 older women, so they're all probably more my husband's age, and they are staring, and they are whispering to each other, and blatantly staring at us too. And I was like, now it's funny to us, you know, because I've been called his daughter before. He's been called my dad. Like, we've had some really funny bar interactions where people don't know what to make of our relationship. They just judge it wrong, and they're like, it's so nice that you're out with your daughter. And he's like, that's my wife. And it's like, you know, and it's, you know, like, just... we have to laugh about it now. It's like, we don't care. I used to care. I don't care. I don't. But I told him, I was like, watch them. They're really upset about us being together. And he goes, so what? I was like, no. I want to make them more mad. I was like, you want to kiss? I'm going to kiss you. And I'm going to like, and so I played it up a little bit. They got so mad they fucking left. I was like, yeah, you shouldn't be out then. I don't know what's wrong with you. But so there has been times where I played into it a little bit because I cannot believe how much it bothered somebody to see a relationship or something, you know. It's like, just people living their life, and you're over here like snarky fucking whispering, talking shit and all that.
That's the... unfortunately, it's where we are today. Anyway, that was a while ago, but it's really bad now. That was years ago now. But it's just where I got to. And the growth for that, for me, is like starting out as that kid where I was really happy-go-lucky for a lot of my years, started to get bullied, went into this whole cycle of like, try to fit in, change yourself, something's wrong with you, hide your boobs, don't smile at people, don't be friends with women, you know, you can't trust them. Like, men are also not trustworthy, so just cut everybody off. You and your kid, just like form a perfect life, never talk to anybody, don't be friends with people, get a dog that can kill someone so that you're safe. Like, really wall yourself in survivalist style. Yeah. That's really what it is, isn't it?
I mean, that's exhausting too, you know?
That's what it is.
And lonely and just lonely.
Well, and, you know, you are missing out on, you know, human interaction and human experiences, but...
I'm missing out on growth. That's the one thing that didn't happen during that time. You don't fucking grow if you don't have lessons.
Yeah, and you don't have experiences.
The experiences have to grow you.
Then the experiences come with lessons, always.
I remember, I think I was actually on the phone with Jolene. It's when I lived in Tampa, and I felt like I was at my happiest place in life. I had just gotten back from, I think, Iraq. I got that apartment. Cameron and I were at the beach all the time. Like, we had just moved to Florida. Everything was life was fucking great for me. I loved my life. I didn't work. I was literally just a mom for a whole year because I had all that money saved up and, like, living my best life. why am I at the fucking grocery store? And you guys, I was running like crazy, so I was super fit. I was a size 8. Like I was just, again, perfect life for me. I was in my best place. And this motherfucker shattered everything for me. Some stranger at a Publix said, "You have the saddest eyes I've ever seen." And I was so mad by that. I was like, I'm fucking happy. What are you talking about? I'm living my best life. I wanted to defend it so bad. And that's one of the things that, like, Jolene heard that and she laughed so hard. She's like, "You have the saddest eyes, Jayme." And I was like, don't say that. I'm really happy. I'm really fucking happy with my life.
Did Jolene think you had sad eyes?
No, she would laugh. She made fun of it.
She made fun of it.
Yeah, she made fun of the whole thing of, like, the saddest eyes I've ever seen.
Oh, my goodness.
But what that experience taught me is that I wasn't actually happy. Like, I had all the things that I thought, like, checked the list, right?
Oh.
All my bills are paid, had buku money, living with my kid, was in Florida, at the beach every day.
Everything under your control.
I was also running.
Everything.
Like, I was in a very controlled environment, right? I was detached from my witchcraft. I was still doing a lot of tarot, and we had a good spirit in that apartment that spoke all the time. He changed clocks, he opened drawers and doors, and so there was a whole excitement around that apartment we lived in. But I had no one. I had zero friends. I had zero connections. My connections was a 4-year-old who I love dearly. I love my son dearly. But that was that.
But you were like 29 years old? And
that guy literally rocked my world with that comment, because it actually, I realized why it bothered me so much.
Because it was true?
Because it was fucking true. Sad. I was so mad to realize that my whole life that I wanted, that I built, did not actually make me happy.
Oh boy. That sounds like another podcast.
Well, you know what? And then 2 years later, enter my husband. So, like,
there we go.
The universe gives you things. But yeah, it's, this was lots of all over the place.
It was a little bit of that.
But we did go from...
Hopefully we made...
some sense?
A point, I think, or some points that people can...
relate to
in their own lives, and again, the important thing is the evolution of it, the experience. The life ain't easy, and some of us have it. It's not supposed
to be.
And some of us have the harder lessons to learn than others. And one of the hardest lessons to learn is that we have hard lessons to learn, and that's part of it.
Yeah,
and accepting that, and the acceptance of that. Sure. And once you can accept that it's not always supposed to be peaches and cream or rose garden or whatever they just this like
rainbows
happy,
and bubbles
whatever just like all the time happiness, that there's going to be tough things that you have to go through, and there's a reason that you're going through them, is so that you can grow from them, so you can gain a new perspective. Then when you get to that point, then I think you've really made it, because then when the things hit you that are really hard, you're like, okay, I'll get, this is just life. I'm on the downslope. I'm at the bottom of the wheel right now.
I think of the roller coaster right
I've always thought of it like a roller coaster, like a roller coaster.
I literally think
because that is literally, I can look at my life and it's like, this wavy
highs
line,
and lows.
This wavy line.
I think of that. You remember that wooden roller coaster at Worlds of Fun?
Yes,
That was something.
Timberwolf. The Timberwolf. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I literally pictured that actual roller coaster, because there was like the huge all the way to the top, and then you just like I was like, that's what life feels like.
There's a big
sometimes.
one at Magic Mountain in California too, this huge roller coaster. There's pictures of it. It's along the highway there, and it's like that. It's the up and down. I mean, that is life, and we have to learn to roll with it, or somehow come to a place where we can accept that we're not always, we're here to learn. We're here to learn and grow. We're here to learn and grow, and we need experiences to be able to do that. We need them behind us. We need perspective. We need people who love us and friends.
We also need people who hate us, because that teaches us too. I'm just saying that all of the people that have been monsters in my story, I now see where they fit and why I needed that monster in my life. Why I needed that lesson of that thing. And because I can accept that, the peace that I have from all of that, I'm still mad. I still think it's fucking wrong. There's not, I don't forget, all that shit. But I am so much better about it, as far as, I don't let it affect me in a way. I think that's the same thing with, instead of the shield, it's the filter, where I'm really able to do that. And that takes time and fucking practice. That is not just like a switch overnight. It doesn't work that way.
All right, Riches. So what's our parting thought?
Our parting thought.
Keep your filter strong.
Keep your filter strong.
Keep your filter clean. I don't know.
I would say, whatever you're trying to heal, continue to try to heal it, but put yourself back out there, because the only way that you can find the people that are really your tribe is to put yourself out there and like continue to look for them, because they're looking for you. It's the reason why we did all of this. When I decided that I wasn't afraid to be me anymore, and I told my husband what I was going to do, he was like, fucking go for it. I support you all the way. It took one person to believe in me to get me to this place, and I don't know that I ever would have really had the courage to do it without him, but I don't know. Just the way that everything moved, I had to, because living in the other way was crushing me. It was draining the life from me. I knew that I wasn't who I needed to be. And I think eventually you get to that place where when you're not living who you're meant to be, life is going to keep tearing you down until you're finally like, I give up, fine, I'll do it that way. Like, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just going to fucking do it now.
It absolutely does do that.
It will tear you down to that spot until they're like,
it really does.
Are you going to do this or not? Are you going to do this or not? Are you going to finally do it or not? Are you going to do it or not? And, to have those lessons repeating over and over again until you finally do the thing that your soul decided you wanted to do anyways. But it feels really fucking hard. That's the whole thing of, moving forward with it. So we're here to support you. We love you. If any part of these stories clicked, please let us know. I love to hear what you guys, well, it sounds fucked up. I love to hear what you've gone through also. Like, we're not alone in this. I think most people have stories like Kat and I have, and that's one of the reasons why we're dedicating the entire 2026 year of podcasts
talking about
to these hard topics and being really open and honest about our own experiences, because that was the one thing that I did. I hid a lot. I wanted to really believe and feel like everything was fine. And it's okay that it's not fine. So that's what I finally got to, is being able to be open about it and not be embarrassed or like feel like I'm going to be judged or bullied by my differences, what I've been through. So we're here for you for that. We love you guys, and we will see you next 2 weeks from now. Yeah. Or on our lives.
Or on our live,
or
which
on our
we'll
lives.
have a live
next week.
Next, we'll have a live on, we're saying next week, but nobody, This will air on Saturday, the 21st. And so we'll have a live grimoire. We're building grimoires this year. And that's next Tuesday. You should be hearing this on Saturday. And I don't know what the date is, because I don't have my calendar.
24th. We'll see you for a live.
February 24th, 7 p.m. live on YouTube.
Yeah.
Come and see us as we'll share our grimoire.
Comment, chat, all the things. Yeah.
All the stuff. All right.
We love you
witches.
Guys. Bye.